It's 12:01. I'll now call this regular meeting of the Copperas Cove Economic Development Corporation to order. This February 26, 2025. If we could please stand and we'll have pledge of allegiance. Bless.
Please pray with me. Heavenly Father, we just thank you, Father, for how you bless us and how you watch over us, Lord. We pray that as we gather together today to meet as the Economic Development Corporation Board, that this time will be a fruitful time of good discussion and progress forward for our community. I thank you for each person here. I thank you most of all for your Son, Jesus Christ. In his name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to the state of Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
That was the weirdest thing I've ever done. We need to start, somebody needs to get an American flag and a Texas flag and they just turn out. We'll work that.
Got one. And then I got a Cowboys. That too. That's kind of-
Kind of the same thing.
Go ahead and have the roll, please, ma'am.
Brady Diaz.
Here.
J.C. Stubbs,
Here.
David McPhail,
Here.
Anthony Martinez, Fred Chavez,
Here.
Vanya Hart. Here. Fred Welch.
Here.
Sean Stevens. Sheena Tanner. Here. Ann Seneca. Isaac Almeida.
Here.
Barbara Boulware Wells.
Here.
Next, we have announcements. We don't have announcements. We'll go on the table. JC,
No, ma'am.
Fred,
I got it.
you got anything?
I just want to announcement to bring the board's attention. April 26th is the annual benefit for the National Mounted Warfare Foundation. And we have the ADC traditionally purchased a table there, so there will be 8 seats available. You got a little time to work 40. And I'm trying to remember the ranch. It's out. Yeah,
South Branch.
yeah, out in Ocala there. But we'll get that information to you as it goes forward. I just want you to kind of put that on your calendar, let us know. We'll also coordinate with the city on that. So sometimes we split a table and we have all the total to get 2 tables.
Yes, I'm trying to get the information now. City Council just
My
had a
apologies.
retreat on Friday from 9 to 3 at Central Texas College, discussing future planning in regards to Parks and Recreation. We submitted a couple of things. I don't have that. I didn't actually update you. I just need that information. I can send it to you. I'm sorry. Also, the comprehensive, I'm sorry. The CIP.
There you go.
Just see that. And we had a discussion on that we wasn't able to get through all the items, but we're going to include them more in the workshop, and of course, everything's available on the website. Okay.
I got nothing.
Just for the record, that we have Anthony Martinez.
Thank you. I would make that petition.
Okay. We'll move on to citizens forum. At this time, citizens will be allowed to speak on any matter other than personnel matters, matters under litigation, or matters on the regular agenda for a length of time not to exceed 5 minutes per person. 30 minutes total has been allotted for this section. Is there anyone that wishes to speak during citizens forum? Anyone? Hearing none, we'll move on to consent agenda. All matters listed under this item are considered to be routine by the EDC Board of Directors and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Board, does anyone wish to remove the item to discuss it separately? I'll read it. Item 1. F1, consideration and action on approval of minutes from the regular meeting held on January 22nd, 2025. Brittany Sanders, Workforce Development. Have a motion from the board.
So moved.
Second.
A motion from Fred and a second from JC. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Move on to item G, public hearings. We have no hearings today. Item H, action items. H1, consideration and action on approving the profit and loss report for November 2024. Fred Welch, Executive Director.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. In your agenda packet, and I'll read here is the profit and loss through November. I will note that for whatever reason, the sales tax revenue in November was about 19% higher than what we had projected. I think sometimes you have agencies that report a little late, so I don't want to look at that as a trend since it's the second month in the fiscal year officially, but it just says people are buying things anyway, so we're happy about that. In terms of expenses, our expenses were pretty well controlled. Also, that was about $58,000 in total expenses for the month ending. So we had a recorded profit, of course, is on a cash basis of about $81,000. Year to date, we're looking very good, October through November, and that same thing. Questions related to, I think some of the expenses that we had budgeted for in our capital outlay relate to the EDA grant, where we were still working with annexation of the city on that, so we haven't executed those expenses yet. And implementation of the planning grant with Matrix as far as the work on transportation and intermodal planning at Port Cavazos. Those expenses really have moved into December and January, so they'll be reported at a later meeting. But on the reconciliation account, the tax pool account is continuing. That's mainly where we have most of our assets pooled right now. Reserve, it's probably reporting between about 4.3 and 4.7% interest, even with everything that's fluctuating. Subject to questions from the board.
Board, do we have any questions?
Yeah.
Make a motion that we approve item H1 as presented.
Second.
Motion by JC, second by David. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to item 2, consideration and action on approving the strategic plan for the Coppers Cove EDC. Fred Welch, Executive Director.
Thank you, Chairman. Included in the agenda packet and for those who were able to attend the presentation that was made on February 18th to council and our steering committee, the TIP Strategies has completed the work on what we're calling Envision Coppers Cove, which would be basically our strategic plan, or at least a guideline to look at over the next 5 years. I would say that we're not surprised. The strategies, are targeted towards small business and entrepreneurial development, targeted business attraction, commercial revitalization and reuse, and of course, workforce development. And then under that, also is the suggestion towards future infrastructure development and housing. Now, a lot of these, in terms of the goals and objectives that were laid out in this study, there's also an implementation matrix, which I don't know that you have it in the work plan in the next section. It pretty much follows that, but it lays out on those strategies, I guess, where the EDC would be maybe the primary carrier, or where we might be an advocate or support, and it spreads it out over the next 3 to 5 years in terms of where we're at. So it was a very comprehensive study. I think 2 things that have come out of it relative to what we're going to call quality of place is the marketing and branding that we all use across the community in terms of who we are as Coppers Cove, how we want to identify ourselves to folks that want to come into the community, particularly businesses and so forth. Also, a strong suggestion towards working regionally, which we have begun those steps in terms of areas of workforce development, workforce strategies, and then off of that, how we continue to grow, finding land to develop for both commercial and industrial purposes as the city continues to expand. When this study was initiated, we were a city of about 39,000 people. At the end of this study, actually, it was a 12-month rolling period, we were 41,000 people. So this puts us in a position working with the city and city staff, particularly after the planning retreat, to move forward. And I will just advise the board that the city manager and mayor and Sheena and I will be sitting down to talk after this meeting today, a little more depth on that site making, site place, and how we work on that. I hate to use the term branding, but you know, the vision we want to put forward and carry out. I am willing to answer or ask me or staff answer any questions you might have. I feel really good about it. I think it puts us on a good track to move forward and gives us some great opportunities to plan ahead for the future. So I just kind of, at this point, we're looking for direction and hopefully then adoption by this board, which then we'll take to council in the next 30 days.
Or do we have any questions for Fred about the plan?
I know you mentioned the implementation matrix. What can we as a board expect as far as seeing progress and target points along that matrix?
So in that, I have a work plan that we're going to be looking at. And actually, we're working with each staff member right now to kind of put that into individual KPIs, shall we say, for each individual as it goes forward. And I apologize, I will.
I can pull it up if you want.
Can you pull it up?
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it. It just wasn't in this.
No, I probably, it wasn't in the packet. I agree, but we might pull it up real quick and then, as I say, but specifically, I think we've got within the team here, we've got folks that are taking ownership of their respective areas. Brittany's going to be all things workforce. Sean is coordinating with Ann on how we handle entrepreneurial development, small business assistance to small businesses, which is also partnership with the Chamber of Commerce right now, and how we bring in other resources, Central Texas College. And then on the workforce side, how we integrate everything from the high school all the way up through the upper level colleges and universities for workforce development training areas. So, although it's kind of hard to say on the screen, thank you, Brian. The first two columns basically are, let's say, midterm, ongoing in the next 6 months. So the first thing we're going to do is address those issues, and then as we get out to 12 months and 24 months, if you scroll down there, you'll see some boxes. And then in the far right corner, it talks about accomplishments and basically, as I say, who we either coordinate with or who's going to take ownership or who should take ownership of that specific task or subtask as a result of it. And then I think, subject to your question there, JC, I would say twice a year, we should probably report back to you, maybe in 6 months. If you want it more often, we're more happy to do that, but at least so we can kind of do some mid-course shifts if we need to. And this, like any other plan, if something earth-shaking, takes place that might adjust it, then our priorities would shift. But at least we can come back to this matrix and know where we are, pick up where we left off.
And I think this is perfect because I think in the past we've been able to create a beautiful document, but we haven't always.
Oh, the last thing I saw was a list of projects, but no way to implement it or get it done.
Well, exactly.
I'm glad you mentioned, because obviously we're not the only ship in the water. So
No,
how do we
sure.
involve
No,
the
sure.
city and the district and the colleges and everybody, all the different stakeholders.
The other thing that's important about this is it allows for a lot of transparency.
Of course.
What we're doing, who we're doing it with, when it's expected to happen, information is there, and that's a big thing. I think it only helps us in our endeavor to develop the city even further. I had another question,
Yes,
or not more of a a note. As we work on, we're going to be working on the intermodal and the study with Fort Hood to push that along. In the back of our minds, when we are doing the place making, if everything comes to fruition and if we get everything we want, economically and culturally, we're going to become a logistical hub, and we need to be thinking about how to market the city as such. We don't want to get caught flat-footed.
Well, I think it's a definite outcome and one that, this is a 10 or 15-year project.
Actually.
But we'll start planting the seeds and getting that vision, working through, the installation on the rest of that land exchange and
Yep.
what we need to do, but exactly.
Right.
And then at the same time, we're developing properties on the other side of 190 that we can put stuff into right now. So what I'm looking at is we got property now, we got property in development, we got property we need to develop. So basically, you know, I mean, vision wise, we have to look at about 10 or 15 years. And I think we're on a way to get there now. Okay. And maybe keep up with the city. We'll see. Maybe get ahead of the city. Well, but
Any other questions or comments?
Yes, Madam Chair, I have a question directly to Brad. I was not able to attend the briefing to the council, the strategy, but I do have a question about this, the threats that you put on the SWAT. And it's okay if you don't know the answer. The reason why I'm asking is that I'm reading some pieces from some students at MUCT, and I'm seeing the same trend here, low or self-image. What do you think? What do you think is that, the low or self-image? Is it just the citizen morale that's low?
So I think it gets back to that sense of place and putting a vision together that we can all come to. That's part of this visioning process. All right. In other words, what we want to be, where we are, and where we're headed. And I'm looking at the city manager there, but I won't make him comment. But it's more of we've been a bedroom community. All right, 25% of our workforce obviously goes for Colossus, more than that.
Mhm.
We have 25% military, but when you throw in the civilian contractors, we're probably 35, 40%, around one major employer. But they go to work, they come home, So what we have to do is put together the attraction image that we can work through Fort Cavazos because there's opportunities there, okay? But also find other industries, maybe out of Austin or somewhere that might want to come here because of the labor, because of the talent pool, because of the cost of living. But we haven't done a good job telling our story, all right? So what it comes down to, Anthony, is let's get our story together, let's get our selling points, and let's go out and go to work.
Control the narrative.
You either control the narrative or somebody's going to control it.
Boom.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
May I say something? I'll also say, I think it is, in talking with residents and leaders and just people who come to Copper Scope, it's been years in the making of slow downward spiral of just negativity.
Mhm.
And it starts with leadership to change that. And I think the current governing body's leadership over the last several years, last 5 years, has really changed that. And this body for the EDC is changing that as well. So I think it really starts with leadership having a positive image of ourself and projecting that, controlling that message. And so it's not just, hey, yeah, we're doing great things. It's that we actually have an attitude of positivity too.
Mhm.
Thank you for the excellent.
So we're just asking here for y'all at least to adopt this for us to work under. And then, as I say, I do have under this just an outline of the work plan where we're at. And again, just understand anything like this is a living document. So it's not like something we're going to put on it and not going to look at it for another 5 years. It's going to be constantly looked at, constantly updated. And then to your analysis, how we hold ourselves accountable. And, a big part of that is, the direction I get through this board, that then with city leadership, we continue the march.
So JC kind of touched on it, right? Do you have a plan for milestones? You said maybe 6 months or so for reporting back to the board, but I think initially in the beginning, there would probably need to be some more communication in the beginning to see this getting off the ground. And I say that because when they presented the first time, the mayor sat up there at the end of the day and said, "Oh, I've heard this before."
Yeah.
Right? And he seemed more on board this time when they presented the other day. And I was really glad to hear that. But we have to hold ourselves accountable.
Yes,
We
sir.
have to have some sort of milestones in place that are going to show the progress that we're making.
So,
And roadblocks
so
that
we
we
go back to that implementation matrix. We've got the immediate ones that we're gonna put in place. And you know what we can do, and this document will be put out on our website,
Sorry.
along with the implementation matrix. But what we can do, is put
Sorry about
there's
that.
a lot of, there are five different subsets to this thing. But what we can do is monthly give you a dashboard, give you a report. So here's what we're doing here, here's what we're doing there, that kind of thing. And then if from the board's perspective, if we're off on a tangent, bring us back. Okay.
And I think it outlined, because it says in the beginning,
Absolutely.
30 days, then it says,
Yes, sir.
what, 60 days
Absolutely
or
does.
30
Yeah.
and 90, then
Absolutely.
and those might be the milestones we want to look at for
Okay.
us.
Yeah.
I'd like to do that.
So we get comfortable with the, what does success look like for each of these things? Because we want to make sure that we're hitting the mark, not just simply accomplishing tasks.
So I agree.
That we're producing tangible results.
They're
So,
productive.
exactly.
They're getting results that we want.
Yes.
Anything else?
So I get from a direction point of view, and I don't know that take action is you, and rightfully so, we'll put some sort of a reporting matrix together that kind of shows progress on these objectives. And I'm happy to put that in my monthly report back to the board even, or have each staff member, work on their piece of it and we can roll that.
That's it.
Cool. Cool. Love it.
Glad to do that.
Is there a motion?
Madam Chairman, I move that we approve the strategic plan for the Coppers Cove Economic Development Corporation Board entitled Envision Coppers Cove, produced for us by TIP Strategies.
Second?
I'm not second, whatever, but just.
Motion by Fred, second by David. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 3, consideration and action on approving a plan of work for fiscal year 2024 through 2025. Fred Welch, David Wood.
So, Madam Chairman, what I've done in this plan of work is I've taken all the strategies and actions that were in the strategic plan. I would say based on our conversations, maybe is not a complete document. Maybe we should pass. I think we can work to, I don't know, I'll call it a scorecard together, okay, that we can report back. But these are the, subject to any questions from the board. These are the strategies and actions that literally came out of the strategic plan. I just put them over here in the work. And what we are doing at this point is separating these, as I say, by members of the team. One person that probably reach, well, the two really, that reach over everything are Sheena with our marketing communications, and Brittany, because it all comes back to people. But there will be specific areas in that we will be having them tasked to monitor, and it'll be Sean's responsibility and mine to kind of look at that overarching thing, make sure where we are.
So, or do we want to consider the document presented today, or do you want to table this and see something?
Why don't we table it, and maybe if I could get with one or of your own, David, you volunteer.
I'll keep you clock.
Yeah, maybe we set that scorecard together and just kind of come off of that, so we get, And then we'll float around the board for your comments and so forth. That might be a better way to approach that. So that when we come in March, we can put this together.
Barbara, do we have to vote on tabling it? Do I need a motion, a second to table?
You do. Yes, yes, please.
Make a motion that we table item H3.
Second.
Motion by JC, is second by Fred. Any further discussion on this item? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Move on to reports from staff, outside entities, advisory committees, and boards. Item 1, executive director's report. Fred.
So I passed out, my reporting update. I'll just say we've had a number of, internal and external, events over the last 30 days. I think one of the most successful ones on the commercial attraction side really was the ICSC River event, held, well, January 29th, it was like right after our last meeting. And why I'm particularly, as I say, is it indicates that there seems to be at least recognition of who we are. We have, Sean and I are working on follow-ups from that relative to folks that have an interest. I would tell you there's at least 3 projects probably in the middle and maybe one more that they've been working on it, but now they've come to us and they're looking for, a little more assistance. I'm just extremely pleased with the outreach we've had both with Texas A&M Central and CTC, Central Texas College, in terms of both presidents being very proactive in coming to the community. In fact, Ryan and I had lunch we had a meeting with Dr. Rhodes, and 2 days later he says, I want to come for lunch. So the door is really open for us, I think, to bridge that skills, and that's, to me, is the whole aspect of upskilling our workforce. I was at a ribbon cutting for the new, well, not the new, but the generating system that was put into the water plant at Belton last week. That is very important to this community in that, gosh forbid, we have another, snowmageddon, but just be assured the capacity is there now to provide fresh water to the communities that are served out of Lake Belton, which includes Copper's Cove. We had and I will call it a soft opening for our company, Nelson Brew Works, last Thursday. I would say it's been very good. I think they were a little overwhelmed by the response, and they're working hard now to get some extra staff there where they need it. I think the days of operation are going to be for initially probably Thursday through Sunday, something like that for a while. And then yesterday we had a great, we had the council retreat, which Mr. Chavez and Ryan had kind of mentioned about was good. Just finding out the direction where the council was headed. Thank you, Vanya, for all your hard work.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah. Vanya's kind of speechless. She hasn't been able to talk for a week, so we don't watch her. Yeah. And we had a great meeting yesterday at Central Texas College, even though it was with the Killeen Chamber of the Military Relations Council. And I want to thank all the council members and folks from the city that were there. We had a good turnout, and I think it's important. Just about to the final legs of getting ready to do this annexation and development agreement with the city. We're real close to it. Once we get Charlie's comments back, I think I've got all the exhibits now. So that'll be happening soon. We did have a kickoff on the transportation rail study grant last month. Internally, inside the fence with Port Cavazos. And there'll be stakeholder meetings starting probably mid-March to late March, where we'll be, and then there will be a website put up shortly to solicit comments, to give, and we'll just link that to our webpage, I'm sure, to get the community's intent, let the community know what's going on. And the DSIP grant, which is the ramps off State Highway 9, we are just about to the final stages, hopefully a review with TxDOT, but that should be coming back shortly. And once that gets done, the plan is still start the bidding on that probably June, July timeframe if everything goes right. So we're looking good. The Hometown Heroes project, I'll just say it looks like we got Q4 funding for that. We just gotta wait to see working at speed of government, but I did get confirmation from our congressman that the project is moving. I think the other items there are, you can take if there's any questions. I would just say that we are in the process of getting our annual report done here. It's just I keep keeping more stuff on June, so we may have a corner pretty soon. I'm not sure. But I want to give also a shout out and maybe I'm ever sick. We have Ann at the TEDC basic course, and maybe 4 hours of me giving instruction was too much. She's been home. She's been home for the last 3 days, but her fever's broke. I told her it's kind of like school. You got to wait 24 hours before you can come back. But she should be with us shortly. So Texas Economic Development Council Winter Conference is actually I'll leave this afternoon. I'll be there through Friday. Sean is there right now. He's enrolled in a program called F-Flight or Future Leadership Training. Then he's got with our Grand Central Texas folks a marketing trip set up to Dallas in March. And I believe they're also looking at one to Atlanta again in April. Just an FYI, I've got a meeting scheduled with Dr. Hawkins, myself, March 14th, the new superintendent school district, just to kind of pull things down. And yes, I did get picked for jury duty the week of March 24th. So we'll see how that goes.
Any other questions for Fred? Now we'll move on to item 2, Senior Director BRE report. Sean Stevens, and Fred said he would read it.
So I just, as I say, I mentioned Sean is presently at the Future Leadership Training. Concurrent with Nelson Brew Works, there was a forgivable loan we gave granted a year ago for the fermentation tanks, which have been done in other communities. Basically, it's manufacturing equipment, so we can help finance that at low interest. And that's probably giving them some working capital here for a few weeks. The second quarter restaurant round table, I'll get that right, has been sent out, and it will be at Nelson Brew Works Monday, April 21st. And we've had a lot of assistance through the Texas Restaurant Association on kind of coming and helping members who show up. Just listen to some of the assets that are there in terms of supply chain, in terms of labor training and so forth. And so we'll continue to kind of work with that. And we're coming off now with a new roundtable finance, insurance, real estate, and mortgage firm. At this point, I think an initial survey has gone out, just gauging interest, see who would be there. But that would probably be the next one that Sean will be working on. We had sponsored, supported a text amendment to the primary corridor overlay, which would be basically Business 190, that would limit future expansion of self-storage facilities along there. That went through the process and was approved by council at their last meeting on February 18th. And as I say, I think I gave you the update there with the March 6th trip to Dallas and the fact that they are working Grand Central Texas to go back out to Atlanta, hopefully. In terms of rural site selectors, as you know, in Chicago, Atlanta, and California. But so just getting a presence of who we are and what we're doing.
Any questions of BRE report? Okay, move on to item 3, Marketing Director's report.
Thank you. Updates for this month include 345 new users to the website, which is up 7%. The main traffic driver is our site available website. So that's great. Our event count was up to 2.6 thousand, up another 5%. Social media in general, our Facebook audience growth continues to grow in a very gradual, good, stable amount, 1.5%. Page impressions were at 89,000 with 702 total interactions. This statistically is a decrease due to I ran ads this past month for the skilled trades hiring event. So what that does is it puts it out in front of so many people that then the interaction number looks lower in relation to that, which is fine because the goal was exposure for that event. The top most effective posts this month were, of course, dealing with the skilled trades hiring event. All three were related to that, the top three. LinkedIn audience grew another 2%. Page impressions were at 1,300. Engagement was up 29%. The most effective posts were the conference posts, really highlighting Fred and Sean's work getting out there and representing Copper's Cove. Current campaign work, I executed the Skilled Trades Job Fair campaign, purchased ad space in Cove Leader Press, Claim Daily Herald, and the Banner. Each newspaper also covered the event, which we're always grateful for. Quality of life, I continue to work on trying to improve, like we were talking about with the identity, trying to improve this perception that there's something to do here. So every week we always put out that weekend roundup post where we share that there are things to do here. And that's a staff effort. People are really starting to find it a lot more, which is great. Discover Copper's Cove is the Chamber's new app. I'm going to be working with them on running the social media for that app specifically. I'm going to be using Instagram and a new Facebook page. So it's going to be Discover Copper's Cove. I had to work with them because they had that account previously from, I guess, a few directors ago. And so we had to track down the login, but we finally have it. So that's going to be an upcoming project, is really getting those posts out. And then, of course, supporting Sean with getting the restaurant roundtable information out and sharing their ICSC trips. And also, since this month was CTE month, I shared some of the ISD's content as far as their CTE program. And other projects, Film Friendly, I've mentioned that the past couple of months. This was the actual month that the film director and his crew came in to do the filming for their documentary. They actually ended up using the conference room for a one-day shoot. And they said it was perfect. So it was really neat. We just had this cleared out. They had like a backdrop over here so that they could do their filming. It was really cool. So I'm going to be meeting with them to kind of firm up my ideas on what I'm going to present as the filming guidelines. I think I mentioned it last month that I envision a tiered cost structure for film companies to come in so that if they are very low impact to the city, their fees would look different from something that is a much bigger project and interfering more with the city. I feel that this is in and of itself very film friendly as far as like treating the independent and smaller companies, differently than the big giants. So when I have that finalized, I will bring that to y'all before we eventually take it to the council, because it does, in order to get film friendly certified, it does have to be adopted at the city council. I am also assisting Sean with the Grand Central Texas project with a Leave Behind flyer design for their upcoming trip. And I'm still finalizing the data on the end of the report, so I will have that to y'all soon. We realized some of the links and such on the website are broken. So I'll be doing an audit of all the pages here coming up soon, just to make sure everything is fixed. And then a bigger upcoming project, Sean and I are discussing having a new promo video created for future conferences. The one that's being used currently is now outdated. So we're going to work on updating that. And then, of course, creating a marketing plan, implementing the strategic plan. And on the back there, you have a list of recent news coverage for y'all. We've gotten quite a few articles listed. So that's all.
Any questions of Sheena? Hearing none, we'll move on to item 4, workforce development specialists.
Hello, everyone. I did not make copies. I will send you a copy. This last month, well, we're in February, so me and Sean, we went over to CTC and we met with the CTE department chair, to be more like a meet and greet. We just got to put a face to a name, let them know about the EDC upcoming activities and how we can possibly partner in the future. So that was good. Nelson Brew Works, we all know they just opened. Last month at our restaurant roundtable, we had the Texas Workforce Commission come. And they explained all the programs that they have for children with disabilities or young adults with disabilities. They have a program called Summer Earn and Learn, where employers can sign up and they actually will hire on a child with a seen or unseen disability. The Texas Veterans Commission, not the Texas Veterans Commission, the Texas Workforce Commission will actually pay that employer to pay that student. So the employer isn't paying out of the pocket. They get free labor and they're not paying at all. So it's a 14-week program. After the 14-week program is over, the employer has the opportunity to keep the job seat, well, to keep the student or let them go, not let them go, but it's up to the student to see if they want to stay or not. Because the workforce, they pay them $14 an hour. So some of the small businesses around here may not be able to afford that. So it's really up to the student if they want to continue working. But it's to give those students introduction into any industry they want. So it could be the hospitality, it could be constructual, it could be industrial. So Nelson Brew Works, Miss Tammy Nelson, she actually was an ASL teacher. So she taught students who were hearing impaired. So she wants to participate in this program. So I connected her with the Texas Workforce Solutions of Central Texas. And they reached out to her. So hopefully she will be participating in that program. Currently in Copper's Cove, we have Cream Pies and Fries who are participating. And I'm waiting for a solidified list to see all those employers that are currently participating in this program in Copper's Cove so we can know. So when students or young adults that come in with a disability and they want to enter into workforce, they know we have a point of contact on where they can go to work depending on their skill set or what they want to do in the future.
Real quick. When I was at a planetarium, we were partners with this program.
Mm-hmm.
It works. It's a lot of fun. They're good kids. It's not crazy. Some people say, "Oh, you don't want them to go." No, it's just another employee, and you don't have to pay them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I recommend the program highly. Sorry.
No, you're fine. When's the program?
They're accepting applications for the employers now, but I have a flyer that I can send out. The program it's during the summer. It's from June to August. So it's called Summer Earn and Learn. So it's a paid work experience.
You know how, I'm just asking.
Mhm.
How old do you have to be?
It's between 14 and 22, but they'll accept applications for students at 14, but a lot of the businesses around here won't hire until they're 16, so they encourage 16 to 22.
Okay.
And it's seen or unseen disability, so it can be diabetes, it can be ADHD, they can have a lost limb, it doesn't matter.
Or freakishly tall.
And the good thing about this program that I like, so if we have Nelson Brew Works participate and they have a student that comes in who is hearing impaired, they can set up, the workforce will actually pay to have devices or any type of extra equipment that you will need in your facility that can assist the student. So, and it's no cost to the employers. So I think that's very, very interesting. And so far we have Cream Pies and Fries registered, but I'm pretty sure we have more that I don't know about. But I think this is a good program to have. And I will also send this to the chamber so they can post out in their weekly newsletter to their businesses. Because it's not just fast food industry. It could be a lawyer's office, a dentist's office, any employer can participate. So I think that's, I got one more thing, and that was the career fair the hiring event, I won't say career fair, the hiring event that we had. So we had a skills trade hiring event on February 18th. But the reason why we had the skills trade hiring event in July of last year, coming out of our regional career fair, a few people mentioned, you know, we don't have anything for the skills trader, the OTJ or, you know, the hands-on industry. So that prompted the skills trade hiring event in February, well, last week. And we actually had, the max was 30 employers I wanted, but 20 to 25 was, you know, a soft spot. We had 24. I can actually send you the list. We had just throw some out there. We had Bell County Sheriff's Department, Coppers Cove ISD. We had Cyber Tech Institute. We had Fort Cavazos, Public Works. So we had a lot of different companies that came out that were skills trade related. We only had 91, I don't want to say only, we had 91 attendees. We knew the number was going to be smaller since this hiring event is tailored towards a specific industry. We had a good outcome, but going forward, I think for the regional career fair, some of the employers mentioned, and even the representatives of the workforce, they said when we have our regional career fair, have buckets of industries. At our last regional career fair, we just had employers throughout the region. This one that we're going to do in July, I wanted to have, so we have maybe 10 from the medical field, 10 from the IT. So it's different buckets that everyone can touch versus just, you know, all over the place and
Just
just
a
have
shotgun,
one.
instead of
So,
a shotgun.
mhm.
Yeah.
So we kind of want to make it like a buffet style where they can come in and just talk to anyone in any industry. It was a good event. But going out, I think I would stick to the one career fair a year, which is the regional one. And we are also heavily saturated with Fort Cavazos in the workforce with career fairs. So I think one a year would be beneficial.
Good stuff. Any questions of Brittany? Okay, we'll move on to item 5, special projects coordinators report. And Senator, you want to report?
Yeah.
She's doing better.
Fever breath.
I think, I think most of everything has been covered, by staff at this point, so.
Plan an Oktoberfest again.
Hey, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, there will be, we are planning for Oktoberfest. That'll be the one big event that I think we'll work toward. Ann has put together a series of guys. She's put together an 8-week training program relative to entrepreneurial, how to start a business. And she has coordinated with the chamber on that, trying to get subject matter experts from the community. And I think it's pretty well solidified. Probably will roll out in late April, if I remember right. It'd be probably an 8-week course. And we'll see if we do that once a year or twice a year, kind of gauge response and what happens. I know the last one we had, when Diane was here, we had 15 or 16. I think it stayed pretty steady through that period. So, so we're definitely working in that space.
Okay. Move on to item J, items for future agendas. Do we have anything? for future?
I think the only thing coming out today is, of course, we'll bring back that plan of working in kind of a matrix to kind of, check the box for that. And next month,
We have the,
you'll be up for my personnel review, I guess, my annual review. So,
we'll have, Judge Blackburn.
that's true. Judge Blackburn will be here to talk about an environmental project. We had a schedule last month and his schedule fell apart, and we are putting it back in for more. So he'll be here, do a full presentation on it.
Environmental or water?
So this one's a regional environmental study. I bring up the water. I'll make one point here. The city through WC 91 and Bell County and several communities are working through the legislature to create the Central Texas Regional Water Authority. And the purpose of that authority, and we need legislative action to create it, is to allow communities to come together, or organizations, water districts, to go out further to find water that's not in Lake Gulch. All the water in Brazos River is gone, or not gone, but committed. So now we've got to go somewhere else to find future water sources. And 15 years goes pretty fast. You know, we can sit there and say we have enough water today, but in 15 years we won't at our current rate. And by the time you find that water, contract for it, and bring it in, it's like building a road. 10 years have gone by. So we're starting that process now.
Needed. Okay, we'll move on to item K, executive session. The board of directors may convene into executive session on any matter related to any of the above agenda items as allowed under chapter 551 Texas Government Code. Item 1, pursuant to section 551.072 Texas Government Code, deliberation regarding real property. The Economic Development Corporation will go into executive session to discuss item K. The time is now 12:51 and we will convene to executive session.
Okay, well,
So the time is 1:33. We have turned back into open session from the executive session. We do not have any action to take today. So with that being said, the time is 1:33. I'll adjourn this meeting.